Get ready for the world's greatest Arsenal podcast. Welcome to another podcast by Guns and Yellow Ribbons. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to another Arsenal podcast, another Guns and Yellow Ribbons podcast. I'm Fergus, I'm your host. I'm joined by my good side mate, my mucker, my good pal Trev, and our very, very, very special guest, Ruth Beck from Ruth Beck Art. We're going to do something a little bit different. It's no football, no transfers, nothing like that. We're talking to Arsenal talent, Arsenal community contributors, and our first guest of this summer is Ruth. Ruth, welcome to the show. Don't be nervous.
Hello, my two favourite podcasters, Fergus and Trevor. Thank you.
Trev, how are you doing, mate?
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited about this tonight, Fergus. It's so great. Ruth's such a lovely lady, and I'm nervous myself about talking to her because I'm in awe of her artwork. I'm looking forward to going through the summer doing these few podcasts we've got going, and I'm over the moon that Ruth's the first one. So let's get stuck in and ask Ruth some questions. Let's put her on the spot and see what she's got to say.
You'll notice the background as well is different. It's not our normal Guns and Yellow Ribbons background. It's a part of one of Ruth's paintings, her North Bank one, and we'll talk about how that came about as well, and the story behind that as well, which Ruth only found out last night. I first met you, Ruth, via Twitter sphere and via Arsenal Fans Forum and Guns and Yellow Ribbons and so on. And the first thing that I ever asked you to do was this photo. It was of the Canonbury Tavern.
Yes.
And you kindly did that for me, for my brother, because we had so many special occasions there. My mum's 70th birthday, my brother's 40th birthday, some family Christmases, and my mum's wake and so on, all there. So that went to my brother, and it's greatly treasured. Ruth, tell us about you then. So you come from Islington.
I do. Highbury. Not just
Highbury.
Islington,
And
Highbury.
Highbury. A Highbury quadrant, isn't it? Is more,
Yeah. Went to Highbury Quadrant, yeah. Primary school. Christened in St Augustine's in Highbury New Park. Yeah.
Fine.
Highbury's where it's at is my house. Number 99 Balfour Road. My mum used to keep that hedge lovely. I hope it's still good.
Do you go back often?
As much as I can. It's really difficult because I live in Kent now, and since I like to go up by car because I like to go to specific places that really mean a lot to me. I suppose that I could go by bus and train and everything, but we drive up there. But now it's really difficult with the restrictions and that. So we go up on Sundays. So really I try and get up there every Sunday of the month, last Sunday of the month. But it's getting less and less really. My family aren't there anymore, unfortunately. I've got a sister-in-law that lives up there from my husband's side because he's from Islington as well. But my lot have either passed away or moved away, so it's just me going back there, really. Yeah.
It might sound like a silly question, but why Arsenal?
Because Mum supported them. We were born in N5. It was the local team. Who else could I support? They were literally on our doorstep, and we were born to support Arsenal. It was like my mum was the big football fan. My dad liked football, but it was my mum, and she liked all sports. She was Arsenal helped because there was loads of Irish players in the 70s, so that was like a big bonus. She loved her horse racing, boxing, all the sports really. She was the only person I knew who got a newspaper and read it from the back page. Turned it around, back page, get the headlines, and then eventually get to the daily news and the headlines. But yeah, it was Mum really. She and my brother, he's a massive Arsenal fan. Used to do a paper round to get his 90p to go in the schoolboy's entrance.
Trev talked about the schoolboy entrance. Go on, Trev. You were going to jump in.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I can relate to what Ruth says because I moved away from North London many years ago now. And as time passes, your family sort of passes away or moves on, but your links don't end. You've still got your friends there, and it's still lovely to go back.
Oh yeah, we've got a friend who lives literally in Martineau Road, and back of Drayton Park pub, and he's been in Highbury. Well, he was born there, still there, will always be there. So yeah, there's definitely connections there, but it's just sad when the family home has gone. There's that panging to go back to where you really came from.
Yeah, I get that.
And my screen's it's come back. I panicked there for a second. I've got multiple screens I've just set up on the computer, and I'd done something on the mouse and it all disappeared. And I thought, Christ, I'm going to have to ad-lib this completely. And I put it all written down what I was thinking about. So listen, you done art at school, and this is your very first attempt at a watercolour. What road is this?
That's a Highbury Barn. That's Highbury Barn. Yeah. You wouldn't know, really. My one that I do today would be more recognisable, I think.
So talk to us about it. How did you get into the art, and how did you get on at school at art and so on?
Well, I always loved drawing and colouring in. Since I was 2, 3, Mum always handed us packs of crayons and paper. So that was always inherent in us. My brother was, and still is, a better artist than me. He was the one with the A level. I took art at school, but school never really agreed with me. I was never that kind of girl. I just couldn't wait to leave. So when I did my art exam, I got an F. I mean, what can I say? Failed miserably.
So Ruth, let me just stop you there before you move on, because that's really interesting. Because we spoke before, didn't we? And you said that you failed your art, and my jaw hit the floor, because you know what I think of your work. So you're at school and you get an F. Does that drive you on to actually do your artwork, or did it give you second thoughts? What did you do?
I never really. I always loved painting and drawing. It's just with the school curriculum and things like that. The way that they did art just never appealed to me. I suppose just doing the exams and everything, I was just never very good at it. So to get a failure in art wasn't really a surprise. But Mum sort of said to me at the time, you have to either go, because our school went to 5th year and then we had to go to 6th form, and she said either you go to 6th form or you get a job. And I thought, I was only 16, 17, so I thought I'd do 6th form, try and get something qualified, and it's funny because I went to Benwell Road, down Hornsey Road, went to Benwell School in the corner there by the Emirates. That's where I did 2 of my subjects, did photography and maths. Failed maths terribly, so didn't bother with that, and then took photography, media studies and English, and I managed to scrape through them, and that's when I started working. But I always did the art, always wanted to do some form of colouring in, I suppose, and just decided to experiment with different mediums, did acrylic paints, colour pencils, lead pencils. But it was when I was doing animal paintings. I did lots of cows and elephants and giraffes and all these in acrylic, and people really loved them and bought them. But I just didn't feel, it was just go for the motions, just painting for painting's sake. But it was a nice therapy for me. And then I injured my hand and I had to get surgery on it. And I was out for a whole year, really. I couldn't even hold a pen. So the watercolour was my way of teaching myself how to hold a pen again and to paint and try and get my hand in doing more artwork. And that's where this came about. This was when my hand was still really just recovering, I suppose. It was 11 months of surgery. I had a reconstructive surgery on a thumb joint. And that was my first attempt. But I really enjoyed it. And I put it on a Facebook page. And I thought, I wonder if anyone recognises it. Because if you're from the area, you might know where it is. And honestly, the feedback I got instantaneously was amazing. People were like, that's Highbury Barn, and that's where I went and got my chips, and this is where I go and buy my fish. And I grew up there because obviously Highbury Barn was our local place to shop. And I thought, that's good. And I really enjoyed painting it as well because it was really sentimental to me as well. So I thought, what should I do next? And I thought I'd do a pub, and I'll do another pub. And people recognised them immediately. And I thought, this is really good. And then I did the Canterbury Tavern. And each one got a little bit better. And I got, I know how to do the bricks now. And I taught myself how to do the windows and the shading. And it's literally, I am now 140 paintings in of Islington alone. And I've done, I think it's 72 or 70 paintings of Arsenal. And it's just like, I've got
Talk
so
to
much
us about
more
this
to
one
do.
then.
Well,
This
that's
is your
like,
first attempt of the East Stand. My brother's house is literally where that Canonbury photo is literally about 200 yards from that very spot.
fantastic. Well, that Arsenal stadium, because my brother, you know, is such a big Arsenal fan as well. And I thought, I've got to paint Arsenal as well, because it's so fundamental in everything that we grew up with. Because everything that I painted up to that point was really a personal journey for me. It was like where mum and dad used to shop. It was the pub we went on a Sunday afternoon as kids. It was where we, you know, I did DeMarco's in Chapel Market because we got the best lemon ice creams from there, you know. And the Arsenal was on our doorstep. It was our team. It's where we grew up. It was my mum's favourite team, my favourite team, my brother's favourite team, you know. Oh, I do Arsenal, but it was hard. I didn't realise how difficult it would be to paint that facade on the front there.
Yeah.
So my first attempt of it was, I mean, it's quite primitive and a bit juvenile compared to what I can do now, because I'm 3 years down and I've learned so much along the way. But I'm still really attached to it. I still love it because it was my first go.
Andy in the chat, first of all, said that F is for fantastic, because apparently when I say fantastic, I sound more Irish than anything else. Andy, I don't know where you're coming from there. But he also asks, have you done the 12 Pins pub yet?
Oh, yeah.
And if anybody else has got any questions, by all means, stick them in the chat as well.
Oh, yeah, I did the 12
I've got
pins.
the 12 pins on my wall.
Yeah, you got 12 pins. That's where you drink, Fergus, isn't it? That's where you have a pint every now and then.
With me and Trev, we drink everywhere.
Only 2 pints, though.
Yeah. It's not Tottenham to get battered. It's Trevor generally who gets battered everywhere he goes.
No, Fergus, the beautiful Donna is watching. 2 pints.
2 pints.
2 pints, yeah. But after 2 pints, you're anybody's.
Do you know what? Do you know what, Fergus? You know what, mate? Ruth made an amazing point there about pictures being recognised, her pictures being recognised, places being recognised, and they're sort of, when I look at Ruth's pictures, they take me on a journey, mate. They take me on a journey through that area, you know. And in the chat, people are saying, "Yeah, I recognise that. I recognise this. I've been there." And and it's wonderful, Ruth. It's so far, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit for just what a good job you do. And if you don't, I'm going to keep butting in and keep giving you more credit because you deserve more.
Well, my paintings really. The more I do, each time I do one, especially the Islington ones, people tell me, like, if it's a church or a hall or a pub, it's like, that's where we got married, or that's where we had a christening, or that's where I met my husband. And it's so fantastic because I get so many messages from people that say, this picture means so much to me, but that picture means so much to me, and that picture means so much to you. And it's so lovely that one image can bring really lovely memories most of the time to so many people, where I think, well, I'll paint, you know, Barts because my husband was born there, but then everyone seems to, I mean, I was born in Liverpool Road. If you're Islington, you usually Barts, Whittington, or Royal Free, really, or you're born at home. But yeah, the amount of people that connect to it is fabulous. I love it. I never get bored with hearing the stories, really, from people.
I'm on your website at the moment. I was trying to look for the 12 pins one. Listen, guys, if you do want to buy or look at some of Ruth's work, she's got ruthbeckart.com, but also the Etsy site where you can buy some of the stuff, and some of the stuff we'll talk about in a little while is at buyruthbeck.com. So get on there, have a look, and you know, none of it's a fortune, and it's all made by this lady down the bottom, and it's all made with
this
love
room
and care. And yeah, in this very room,
at that very table behind me.
So listen, by what Trev said, by people in the comments talking about they remember the number 19 bus come up from Battersea, and different people remembered in different areas and stuff. You've clearly been embraced by the Arsenal fans. You've been embraced by the Arsenal club as well. You've had birthday tweets.
So lucky.
From
Unbelievable, really.
wishing you a happy birthday from Arsenal.
Yeah.
You had a big birthday in the year. We don't mention ages because that's a gentleman
It's just
thing
a number,
to do.
isn't it?
It's just a number. But the Islington media have really picked up on you as well. So you've got this here, which is in the Islington Tribune, and obviously you're in good company with Trev, who has been in the Gooner fanzine.
I'm so proud of being in the Gooner. Oh, it's like one of the absolute highlights. Because I have at the moment, thankfully, got a bit of a regular spot with David Fencer, because he writes about Highbury, some fantastic writing about Highbury. I mean, the whole of Gooner have great writers, but every now and then my bits of art just pop up and appear either in the background or alongside a piece. It's just fabulous. I love it.
So talk to me about, obviously, let's go through these 3 Gooner covers. The first one, the Cronky Out, the protests. Trevor was there at that one. I couldn't make it. Talk to us about that one, and then we'll talk about another one as well.
The Cronky Out, it was a photograph taken by a brilliant Twitter account. His account is AFC Glenn. And his photos, I mean, he just takes them with his phone, but he's got such an eye, and he was obviously there that day, and he took that photograph, and the photograph is fabulous. It shows all the flares and the smoke and the atmosphere. It's just so striking, and I saw it that afternoon, and I just thought it was being shared around Twitter, and there was no copyright as such on it, so I wasn't quite sure who had it. So I thought, well, I'll paint it, and hopefully I'll find out who's done it along the way. So that evening I got all the paints out, and I painted it to try and get it out that night, because it was such a massive day, wasn't it? On that protest, it was fabulous. So got the painting out, and thankfully someone tagged him on my painting that had seen it on Twitter, and I messaged him. I said, I hope you don't mind that I painted your photo, but it was incredible. And he said, no, that's fine. So we decided that if I sold any of the prints, we donate the funds to a charity that was really dear to him. It was the National Kidney Foundation, and his sister had an operation, so he was really keen, that the charity got funds and that. So all the profits that were made from selling that painting went to the charity, but the painting was just so strong. It was one of the best bits, personally, I think it was one of my favourite bits that I'd done for a long time. And then the Goon had seen it, and they picked up on it, and they decided to put it on the front cover. So
Trevor, you were there on the day. What did you think of the painting?
Yeah, it captured the mood. It really captured the mood. Arsenal fans were united that day. Whatever their thoughts were outside, those in that area that day were united, and that they were there for one cause, to show support for our great club. And it was a great day. And that picture, I saw the photo before Ruth painted it, and I thought, wow, what a capture that is! What an angle! What a capture! Yeah. And then, of course, Ruth painted it, and it's on the front cover. It was on the front cover of the Gooner, and as is usual with Ruth, she did it really well. Captured it perfectly.
But I mean, all credit due to Glenn, who took the photograph. It was just incredible. It was like one of those photos in time that I just felt compelled to paint. Really, it's brilliant.
Just if anybody's listening on the audio, Ruth does have some canaries, and they are in the other room. And if it is if it is making you think there's something wrong with my iPhone, or you're sitting on the tube,
no, they're tweeting.
They're tweeting, yeah. So, and the benefit is winding Andy up. He just.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry.
They're not even mine.
They're
my son's. I didn't even want them.
I've got that same issue with cats in my house, so I feel your pain. I feel your pain. So the next one I want to talk about is the one that basically shot you to fame in Arsenal, which was the Christmas tree one. Arsenal adopted it on their website. The Gooner took it up, and then there was the article about Paint It Red, where it all went. Talk to us.
Yeah, well, the Christmas tree, I got COVID and I was really sick. I mean, God, it knocked me absolutely bandy. And Laith has had Laith, the editor of the Gooner, he had the Christmas issue due to be released that week, I think. And he messaged me and said, Ruth, you don't happen to have any Christmas themed Arsenal pictures, do you? And I was like, literally in bed, like dying, thinking, oh God, no, I don't. And I did have like some graphics, like reindeers and like little Santas. I said, well, you can have them because they were Christmas card things. And he said, no, he said, I want one of your watercolours. I thought, oh, this is a great opportunity for me, and I don't want to miss it, but I feel dreadful. So I managed to do this painting, and I do everything on like A4s, but I did this one on an A5 because I felt so sick. So I did this here. Look, I did this tiny little painting of a tree, and as a corner flag at the Emirates, obviously, and I was coughing and spluttering. So. Disgusting still. And I scanned it in and sent it to him. I said, will that do? And he said he loved it. And he put it on the front cover. I was just like, yes. He liked it. So yeah, I was really, really, really pleased. But to be honest with you, I look at it now and I just think, I should have done the star a bit better, or I should have put a bit more highlights on the baubles, or a few more this, that, and the other. But
you know what? The style of my wife does is an amateur artist as well. She does lots of bits and pieces of art, and you've probably seen it on your friends with me on Facebook.
Really brilliant.
She said the style of art that she's done a couple of courses and bits and pieces as well. The style of art is called primitive art. So, and it's meant to be just simplistic. And I think when you look at the bricks, as you said, and your early watercolors, even your newer stuff, but the slightly not perfect start, that's what the style is all about, and that's why it's so good. Not only because of where it is, but it, around Arsenal, linked to Arsenal and Islington, and brings back so many memories for me, because my parents lived in Islington for 20 odd years, and I lived on the edge of Islington, just on the Hackney Islington border for 15 years or so. So it's really, really nice that the style and so on. But you've been part of the Islington community for a long, long time, and you painted one picture in particular, which is a picture down near a vet's on the Essex Road, and it's of a flower stall. This isn't a good quality picture I've got for you, but it's Tony Eastlake's stall, and sadly, it's a couple of days ago since he was fatally wounded and died. Talk to us a bit about that, because you've done some sold that picture and done some more fundraising, and some links with the Arsenal ladies that are on there as well. So talk to us about that.
So Tony Eastlake and his family had that flower store on Essex Road for generations, really, years and years. Ever since I can remember, there was been a flower store next to the Essex Road station, and I used to see it coming home from school on the bus, coming home from work on the bus, visiting mum and dad. It's always been there. My mum used to buy flowers from him. He's an absolutely integral part of Islington. If you know the Essex Road, you think of his flower store. So last year, almost to the day, 29th of May, Tony was killed in a knife crime incident, and the perpetrator, I believe, has been caught, and there's a court case coming up about it. But the whole community was shattered, completely shattered by it. And Tony Eastlake's family are related to my in-laws. So my sister-in-law is Tony Eastlake's ex-wife's cousin. So we've got like this connection.
Family link.
And Ellen Maggs is an ex-Arsenal ladies footballer, and she is part of the family as well. And she put a GoFundMe page up to raise money to help Tony Eastlake's family with the funeral costs more than anything, because it was, just shocking. So I thought, well, what can I do sitting here in my little house in Kent? And I thought, well, I want to paint Tony at his stall. And if I can sell a couple of prints and send that money over to Ellen's GoFundMe page, then that's one little contribution from one little person. Because lots of people are, trying to do things. And so I painted that. That's Tony sitting there on Essex Road. And I sold it on my Etsy shop. And I sold it, I think I did a 2-week window. And I put it on the Islington pages, and it got shared, and we managed to raise, I think, in the end, it was £600, I think we raised, and that went straight into the GoFundMe page. And it was just incredible. And it also, I gave the original painting to Paige, Tony's daughter, and she was so delighted. I mean, it was such a traumatic, tragic time. Even now, I mean, it's only a year on, but it was just one tiny little gesture to try and, I don't know, help.
I think it's fantastic what you've done, and as you say, if it's 200 quid, 600 quid, 6,000 quid, 6 million quid you raise for a cause, it's something you've done, and you've given something back, and you've showed the gesture to Tony and given respect to him and his family.
Yes.
Another one that cause that you're doing at the moment is with these T-shirts, Northumberland Forever.
Yeah.
And it's Ben Kinsler, sadly, another knife crime
another
victim.
Islington boy,
Islington victim, and we're not trying to keep this like depressing or anything like that. I'm just trying to explain to people the work that you're doing, and that you've already, I think, in your first week of sales, you've raised a couple of quid or so on each T-shirt, and you've raised a few hundred quid.
The first donation went in yesterday for £200, and we're still selling. David Marr is a Gooner. He is a Hitchin lad, and he's an East Stand season ticket holder, and he's got his own little Etsy shop, his printing business. And he and I have collaborated, and we're making these T-shirts behind me. And every penny that I can raise from me, like the profit that comes out of after David's costs and everything, because obviously he's got to buy all the materials in and make them, that goes to the Ben Kinsella Trust, which is a knife crime, prevention trust for, it's countrywide, but obviously Ben was an Islington boy. It all kind of comes full circle, doesn't it? Everything, is relative to what you're doing. It's all Islington, it's Arsenal, it's family, it's all that. So it really is an amazing cause, and anything that we can raise is going to help us, I think.
And just to finish up on that topic and stuff, Arsenal done it. Sadly, it was Nottingham Forest we lost to. We played in an all white kit to say no more red, and that was all for the same message.
Yes.
Well done. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you.
Changing the topic very slightly, like the man over there, whatever, that sort of way.
He never did know his left from his right.
This man here.
Yeah. He's got an obsession with you, honestly.
As I have with him. But Donna's cool. Donna's cool. She's cool.
His wife. I was going to say Donna could actually cite you for divorce reasons, because you've taken up most of the walls in his house.
Stop it, Fergus. Stop it.
Most of the walls in the house. Trev, off you go. Talk
Are they as bad as my walls?
It's they are, Ruth. It's I adore Arsenal Football Club, right? They've always been a massive part of my life, and I had many years when I couldn't go for one reason or another, and probably a few years ago now I could start going again, and it just rekindled my love for Arsenal Football Club. And I'm a little bit upset because once again you've not given yourself the praise you deserve, Ruth. And I started buying little bits of Arsenal artwork, old stuff, new stuff, different styles. I don't buy portraits because I think a photo of a player, I prefer a photo of a player signed than a portrait. But when I discovered Ruth's art, right, it is unique, right? It's a unique style. You look at a picture, if an Arsenal fan comes to my house and looks at the pictures on the wall, they'll say, yeah, that's a Ruth Beck, that's a Ruth Beck. It's really important people know that. And I like with the 07 one in the background, can we stick that up, Fergus? Can you stick up the 07 photo, mate, please?
Carry on, I'll find it.
Yeah, the one in the background here, the Block 7 entrance. That was I sent Ruth a picture, and the following day Ruth sends me that. You're so clever, Ruth. I looked at it and I thought, oh my God, that's my spot. That's my spot. And it's arrived today and it's on the wall. So yeah. Job's done.
But Trev, do you
Yeah.
know the story behind that one? You won't even remember that story. I was lying in Whipps Cross Hospital. I couldn't go to Leicester or Liverpool. And you come along and you text me a message with that exact picture going, got your spot, mate, or something to that words. And that you've sent that picture to Ruth and we've got it here in the background. So for me, I've got a lot of thought behind that. My mate looking out for me and winding me up that I was lying in a hospital bed watching a laptop. He was drinking beer at the stadium.
we must just say that I took that picture a couple of times, but a lad in Block 7 called Adam, who serves our country, thank you very much, mate. The actual picture I sent to Ruth was one he took. I'm not going to try and pronounce your surname, Adam. I do apologise, mate, but you know who you are, and we've spoken, and I appreciate you let me sending it to Ruth. And Adam was over the moon. I think he's ordered the biggest size he can get, hasn't he, Ruth?
Yeah, I sent it to him yesterday. So hopefully, if he hasn't got it today, he should get it tomorrow.
Fantastic.
That's where you go to get it if you want to copy, people. Let's talk about commissions then. So obviously the first one that you ever done indirectly was the Canterbury for myself on a request, and that one that we've got on there, I don't leave it on long enough, but it doesn't have a watermark, and everything else since has a watermark from our conversation, because I don't want anybody taking your wonderful work and claiming it for themselves and using it for themselves or printing it off. You should benefit from it if you've put the effort in there. But you've also done some other commissions for some people, and I've got one here, 51 Anson Road. Can you talk to us about why that was commissioned and what's the story behind it?
This one, I had to paint that twice, believe it or not, and they were quite big as well. They wanted it like an A2 size, so it's quite a big painting. But it was a family home, and the woman who asked me to do it, I think it was her parents' house, and unfortunately, I think something had happened and they had to sell the property, and she and her sister wanted a painting of it. So she sent me these, well, they were photographs, but if you get a low res photo, obviously I need to know all the little details, and she wanted a specific bush in the front, like stuff like that. So I had to marry up a few pictures just to get the image right, but I did it twice. And the second time, there's so many bricks in it. Yeah, that was driving me a bit stir crazy, but I love the way it came out. I like the sky. It looked like it was coming over a bit cloudy there. But yeah, there's
beautiful. And where is that? I know where Balfour Road is, because that's my little rat run cut through to Hackney as I head back from a night game. But whereabouts is that?
These ones, well, my commissions can be anywhere. I think that one was up in near Kentish Town somewhere, I think.
Okay.
I can't quite remember. But I've done commissions of houses in France, in Germany, a couple of Irish houses. So they're not just Islington, specific. They can be anywhere. I mean, basically, if you have a house and you want a picture of it, I'll paint it for you. It doesn't matter where it is. I do get messages saying, would you do a house that was in Hackney, like on the border of Islington? I'll paint any house, really. But my own art collection tends to be Islington based, because that's my collection, if you like. They're my personal paintings, which relate to everybody, really. I mean, there's so many of them that people attach to and have stories about. But yeah, commissions can be anywhere. Yeah, that's my most recent Islington one, Sutton Dwellings. That's opposite Town Hall. If you sit in the top window there, you get a brilliant view of the the Town Hall, where we can sort of parade the cup next time, if they allow us. Islington Council allow us.
Yeah, they don't do it at the Town Hall anymore. They like to have it around the stadium, don't they? So, and your latest Arsenal one, Princess Schooner Amanda, I've urged her to order one. I hope she has. East Stand upper tier entrance. I do like that.
That's a nice angle, isn't it?
You? Yeah.
Well, this is it. This is it. I just I'm getting the trickier angles, and they're more interesting. I love all the other art that I see of the stadium, but I want the quirky views. And I've I tend to, if I go up there myself, I'll tend to sort of sit crouched in a corner, taking a weird angle of one of the doorways, because it just looks more interesting rather than just a flat view of it. I did all the flat views, but I just want something different. And that particular picture there of the East Stand, that just ticked all the boxes, really.
And your favourite one, I asked you, you sent me loads.
Buckets.
Honestly, I had buckets of stuff. I spent yesterday evening just looking through and trying to get some bits and stuff. I think about 4 hours sitting up here trying to prep for this. Your favourite one is Gillespie Road Tube Station, which
the Arsenal Tube Station,
which
Fergus.
Sir Herbert Chapman renamed it Arsenal Station.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Arsenal. Why is that your favourite? Is it because it's just called Arsenal Station, or?
Many reasons. The link with Arsenal. It's a Highbury station. It's Islington themed. It's got the kiosk. It's a nice angle. Arsenal released their training kit, didn't they, a couple of months ago, of the London Underground print, and they put that up online, and I sort of put my picture of the station out at the same time, and it just rocketed over Twitter. So it had a really lovely reaction to it. People sort of shared it and liked it and commented on it, and it just, for me, ticked all the boxes because it had the combination of Arsenal and Islington in one picture. So it appealed to a cross section of the audience that liked my work, but I just really enjoyed doing it. And London Underground signs, they're really quirky to paint, and it had the kiosk in it. It was just a really good angle, and I think it came out well. The photograph I took the reference from was dirty. It had an old bike in the corner. There was an old bin. And it's funny, going back to the commissions, people say, I've got a photo of the house that we used to live in. Can you take the bin out? And I'm like, I don't do bins. I don't do sky dishes. I take them away because they're ugly. Street furniture. I mean, an interesting lamppost I'll always include, especially, the like Victorian style lampposts. I love them. There's a few of those around Islington. But yeah, I try and keep the street a bit cleaner. No litter.
One I particularly like, and I'll tell you the reason why, is the old West Stand away end and the West Stand upper entrance on Highbury Hill, up from the tube station where you just showed a minute ago. Partly because Trevor knows Rory, my brother. He's a Man United fan. He used to live more or less opposite that, and wake up in the morning, being a Man United fan, open his blinds and see Arsenal Football Club, and it just filled me with joy and happiness.
That picture as well is the painting that Arsenal used when they named me as one of their creators of 2021. It was that picture that they specifically
so talk to us a bit more about this creative 2021. How many are there? Because we want to talk to some of them, and we're talking to you obviously as the first and the best. Well,
I think they picked 10.
One of the best.
Thank you. I got a message, I think it was right at the end of December last year, in my Instagram from one of the social media chaps at Arsenal, and I didn't know who it was. It was just a random message, and it said, I work at Arsenal. And you think to yourself, this isn't an official Arsenal account. Is he just pulling my leg? Because I get some unusual messages, should we say. So I didn't know whether he was being serious or not, and he said, we'd like to use one of your paintings and include you as one of our creatives of the year. And I'm thinking, God, is this real? Please let it be true. And I said, yeah, of course. Anyway, I googled his name just to see if it was real, and it came up in LinkedIn as he worked at Arsenal, and I just thought, yes, he's real. He isn't pulling my leg. So yeah, then he said, well, you'll get tagged in the post that we put out. It'll probably happen tomorrow. So 24 hours of me thinking, please let it be true, and then they tagged me, and it was, yeah. So I think there were 10 of us in total, and yeah, poorly drawn Arsenal, can't draw Arsenal. He was one of them. I think Gunnar Balls, I think Jason Woods, there's a few. But if you click on my pinned post on my Twitter, that will take you to the original Arsenal post, and then you can look at the other artists. I think there's
and that's at Ruth Beck Art, isn't it?
Yeah. All my social media is at Ruth Beck Art. Facebook, Instagram, everything.
David Marr has put in the chat that he needs a block 17. Take your photo and let Ruth know. You know
send
the
me a
handle.
photo. How many blocks are there? God, I'll be busy. 128, is there? I don't know. It's a lot.
If you're going to send Ruth pictures of your block entrance and that, make sure you push it to other people in your block.
And when I say that. And I did say to a friend recently, I said, can you send me a picture of your entrance? And then I thought I had to reword that, because that could be a really nasty inbox moment, couldn't it?
Yeah, you could find yourself blocking a few people, I reckon. Yeah.
Listen, I've never asked you, actually, do you go to any games? Have you been? I know you went, your first game was what, back in the 70s?
Yeah, I think it was... I was very young. I nagged my brother. I told you, used to have a paper round, and I nagged.
Oh,
Ruth's gone.
You've hit mute, Ruth.
Ruth, stop talking a minute. Stop a second. What have you done? Ruth can't hear us. That I don't think.
Ruth. No.
Now she's frozen. Oh no. What are we going to talk about now, mate?
One second. Ruth, can you hear us? I think your internet has dropped out for the minute. Yeah. You chat away for a second. I'll try and message her.
Yeah, you message her. I'll take her out. I'll take that blank screen out, Ferg, and see what we do. I'll tell you what an interesting woman she is, though, isn't she, Fergus? You know, born and bred, and she's properly self-taught as well, isn't she? She's got her style. Someone mentioned it earlier, mate. How she does all them buildings and all that brickwork, I do not know, because it must take forever. I wouldn't have the patience to sit there for 10 seconds and do that. It must take her forever. But she's hopefully she'll be back in a minute, Fergus. Have you messaged her, mate?
I've messaged you, seen the message. So you should just refresh her link. Hopefully she'll be back on a second. You've got loads of her stuff, and Donna's forever dusting it and making sure it's in perfect, pristine condition. How let me see if we can add her back in yet. Is Ruth? No,
she's not there.
Right.
So I'm allowed certain areas of my house to have Arsenal pictures in, Fergus. Up the stairs, and I've got a corner in the dining living room, and I have an extremely understanding wife who understands my love of Arsenal, comes second only to my love of her and my kids and grandkids, and she does. If I order a picture off a roof, she'll put it back on. She'll put it in a frame and stick it on the wall for me. Hey, Ruth's back. Put a
penny in the bloody machine.
Hey, Trev, we're getting quite good at this. We filled in quite well, didn't we? It was like nobody knew.
I was waffling then, Ruth. Nobody
knew.
Is
anyone watching anyway? I don't know.
No, there's nobody watching. We're just having a chat. It's just us three having a chat. So go on. You said you went in the 70s when your brother did his paper round. Go on. You were saying that. Do you go to games now?
Well, I haven't been since pre-COVID, but I've got my membership, and my best friend has promised me that we're going to sort tickets out. He's a season ticket holder, and I've got my red membership, so we're working on it. I'm going to the Emirates Cup in July. It's July, no?
Oh, yeah, me too.
Are you going?
Me too. Yeah, Fergus isn't going. I've treated myself and Donna to a couple of club level seats.
Oh, very nice.
Well, you get it for a good price for the Emirates Cup, but Fergus isn't going because he's a lightweight, Ruth.
No, you know what, Trev? I don't like to say negative about the club, but I find that the Emirates Cup, one, they've set it at 12:30 on a Saturday, which is silly. It used to be a 2-day experience. It used to be something like a £5 for a kid and a £10 for an adult sort of thing. And I used to bring nephews, nieces, wives, everybody along, and it used to be much.
Listen, son. Us real Arsenal fans will go anyway, regardless.
Just
of
get in the ground. Just get in the ground.
Exactly, Ruth. Regardless of anything, we will get there and we will watch the football and we will support our club. See, there's decent supporters like you and me, Ruth, and then there's our
fickle fan. Fickle.
Our Fergus.
Fergus. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh,
I
he's
felt
been
terrible.
calling it up. I was in the car today and I rang him up and he went, "Hello, Fergus." Oh, no.
See, he's going to stick me on it. I'm so sorry. As it went, because it's Twitter, you can't delete. Well, you can delete, but it's like everyone's seen it then. You just think, oh, God, here we go.
So here we go. Massive question. You two, Ruth first, ladies first. Does Twitter need an edit button?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm in agreement. Yeah, definitely in agreement.
Especially fat fingers and blind. Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Fergus.
Fat Fergus, did you say?
Fergus.
No.
I've got feelings, you know.
I'm not saying anything.
Ed in the chat put up a message here and said, with the North London Forever and the anthem that Lewis Dunford has done, how did North London Forever inspire you to create the work? And have you ever met him?
I haven't met him. I did go to his concert. I went on the 21st of April. We went to see him at the Union Chapel, and he was incredible. I mean, if you think he's good on his music that you listen to on the EPs, wow. Well, his live performance knocks the spots off it. He is unbelievable. Absolutely, he's going to be massive. I hope he's going to be massive because he deserves it. So, but I haven't met him personally. We have a mutual friend whose daughter used to be babysat at the same time as Louis. So they grew up together. So my mutual friend knows Louis from when he was a tiny tot because he used to be with his own daughter being babysat. But the North London Forever, it was just a conversation we had on Twitter. There was a few of us that were just chatting online. And I knew that Louis wrote the song and his dream would have been that it was sung one day at the Emirates. But it was, I don't know if he ever believed it would be. But it was kind of like this weird, really weird conversation on Twitter about 4 weeks ago that just like absolutely just went. You know how things go viral, and it just spiraled. And then I had this logo on the T-shirt. It used to say North London is red, and I created it when we won the FA Cup with Arteta, and I did it as a poster on my shop. And I thought, look, it really sort of suited the North London Forever, so we just changed is red to forever. And I was putting it out on Twitter saying, this has to be the next anthem, and wouldn't it be great to sing it at that? And not just me, I mean, there was lots of people doing it, but every time I hashtagged it, I put my picture with it, and it just started growing momentum. And then we decided to do the T-shirts because people were messaging me saying, can you put it on a T-shirt? And I said, well, I haven't got that facility. And I must have got at least 10 or 15 messages saying, put it on a T-shirt, put it on a T-shirt. So that's when David Marr sort of contacted me and said, I can put it on a T-shirt. So he did it. And it was suggested, that put proceeds to charity, and it just all worked out from there. Just weird. The power of Twitter.
It is amazing.
It was almost overnight, wasn't it, Fergus? That young man, that Louis Dunford, I'd love to meet him and talk to him much as I've spoken to you about your art, because I discovered his music through Twitter and through it being spoken about on there. And it takes me on a journey, his music, Ruth. His songs, they get my mind. And obviously, me being a big Arsenal fan, North London Forever works amazingly with me, and I can't stop. I play it over and over, and I've got it in the head, and I don't just listen to it. I think it and I imagine it, and brilliant. What a great young lad, great voice, and let's hope we're singing it for a long, long time at the Arsenal. I don't see why we shouldn't.
I couldn't believe that somebody had written a song that encapsulated every element of how I grew up as well. Like, I'd never heard a song that had Highbury in it before. I mean, there might be like little ditties, but an actual proper heart drip. And people go, oh, but there's some swearing in it, or it's like, well, how can you say that? How can you run down the area? He didn't do that. He wrote Islington and the Calais and Highbury. If you grew up there, that is how Islington is. That is Caledonian Road. That is King's Cross. That we did have saunas that were brothels, and a lot of towns did. But he just did
Trev
it.
knows
He
him.
just wrote it.
Let me just. Sorry, Ruth, I'm cutting you off there. Let me just state for now, I don't know them.
Sorry, no off
Well, I
them.
don't know them.
No.
You kind of.
You
knew that they existed, is what I mean. Like, not that you
all
listed them.
You all know what goes on in there, and if you saw someone walking in there, you had a giggle, because you knew exactly why they were going in there. But the swearing in it, you see, even the swearing in it, Ruth, isn't overbearing. It's what North Londoners do. We swear a bit,
Exactly. Like I say, it encapsulates exactly what the area was like. I don't know necessarily, it's a little bit gentrified now, but when he was growing up as a teenager, and also not only the Angel, but if you listen to the London Requiem, I mean, that is an incredible song. And My Generation, his songs
Boss
are
Man stuck in my head.
Boss Man is genius, and it just makes your heart swell.
There's the song about Ben. There's a song about Henry
Hicks.
There's so many. They all feel personal.
I hope he's going to write a song about Tony Eastlake. I mean, that would just be Islington personified, really. Hopefully.
You see, we spoke about it the other day, Ruth, when we were chatting, Fergus, yourself, and me, and the comment there from Ed Seaborn's really important, and it's really interesting. He's a South African. He's Ed. He's a lovely man. I don't know him that well, but we always meet at the Arsenal and have a chat. And he says he's from South Africa, and North London forever brings a tear to his eye. Well, do you know what it will do? Because just that song, it doesn't really matter. It's nice to be from North London because that's what he's talking about. But you can relate that to anywhere. People will hear that song and think, I'm from Leicester, I'm from Birmingham, I'm from wherever. And that happened in my area, stuff like that,
Yeah.
Especially, like I say, with the with Boss Man, or one of my favourite songs, although I can't personally relate to it. It shouldn't make me laugh, but it does make me laugh.
I know what you're going to talk about.
Regret to me. It's just absolutely genius. And that's Louis for you, I think, that he is such a brilliant songwriter. He's quite genius. I'm just so excited to see his future and what he's going to write next and what he's going to come up with, because I just think he is superstar. One
question for your final one from the listeners and viewers. Have you thought about doing away grounds that the Arsenal travel to? He's interested about Arsenal stuff, but wondering what's in the pipeline, what you're thinking of doing.
I haven't necessarily, because I am very loyal to my Islington roots. And I've had people ask me if I'll paint Tottenham.
Don't you go painting no toilet bowls. Don't you do that.
It's like, no, I will not do that. Commission or not, no amount of money can make me do that. But I mean, with some of the commission, I said to commissions, if you want a house, then I'll paint it. But I do draw the line on some places. But no, I haven't this sort of thought of doing the away stuff. If it was Arsenal themed in an away ground, so if it was like
I suppose you could do like a Wembley scene with all the Arsenal fans streaming in, or
exactly.
France,
I tell you what we did do. I went to Liverpool on. I've got some very wonderful friends in Liverpool, some beautiful friends in Liverpool, and we went up there and just a couple of summers ago. And my husband said, "I'd really like to have a tour of Anfield just to see, because you do club tours."
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, we'll do that as part of an experience. And we went around, and on my phone, every photo I took was like the Arsenal pennant, that they had, because we went obviously around their like museum
and stuff,
and anything that was Arsenal related in the past. I was like, oh, that's a nice picture. Click, zoom in, click, click, click. And when I came away, the only real pictures I had were like Arsenal related. So that speaks volumes about me, really, doesn't it?
Ray Chasm has put an idea in the chat. The Arsenal away support would be fantastic.
Yes.
I'll send this to you and see how you can get on with maybe something like that. I know you don't do people and faces.
But there aren't, I do people as long as there aren't faces. See, that's ideal because there's only one front face, but maybe I could twist it around. But most of those, it's like the conky out, isn't it? They're just profiles and backs. Yeah, I could probably do that. Really,
I'll send that. I'll send you that later on. So,
thank you. But
listen, last questions. Thoughts on last season and expectations for next season, because it is a football podcast as well.
Thoughts of last season. I'm so proud of our young team. They did us proud, and the supporters and the whole. It's been really weird because I don't know if it's you're always going to have the naysayers and say, oh no, Arteta out, we're doing really rubbish. But for me, I just feel that we're really coming together. We're building something. It's really exciting. I hope we make some signings. I don't really know who, but I'll follow the rumour mill and hope that some of them are true. And next season, I'm excited. I think we are definitely growing. The support is much stronger. I don't know if the anthem's helped. I'd like to think it has. It'd be wonderful if it has.
I think at home, definitely towards the end of the season, yeah.
I'll tell you where the anthem came in, and I don't know if Fergus agrees. It'd be interesting to get Fergus's view. The Arsenal support has been improving all season, Ruth. We've had good support all season. Away from home has been amazing. And then right at the end of the season, the last couple of home games, we're getting North London forever, which just ramps it up to another level, which I didn't think we could reach. But that clip of Louis Dunford put it on his social media where his friend filmed it from his flat.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it. Just filmed the Emirates from his flat 100 yards away. And you just hear it booming. And that is the Arsenal now. That is.
Sorry, trying to cut across you.
Did you see how Rudy was there, Ruth? I was talking away, and he just cut me off and put a bit. He could have just said, "Hang on a minute, Trev, I'm going to show a video," couldn't he? Sometimes he tests my patience. He does, Ruth. Really tests my patience.
Sometimes you do act like a married couple. You know that, don't you?
Ruth, it's a love-hate relationship, and
can I just say one thing about that clip that you just showed? It brought back one of my favourite memories of growing up. That did, because my mum, I told you, was the big Arsenal fan in our family, and we lived in Balfour Road, which was near the Arsenal Stadium. It's just up the hill. And in when the match days were on, if we couldn't, obviously my brother could go, but we couldn't all afford to go as a family. She'd always had the kitchen window open. And she'd always listen for the crowd to cheer. And if it was an extra loud cheer, she knew we scored. And the singing. And you could hear it. The wind was coming the right way.
Wonderful.
You could hear it.
Wonderful.
And that probably is my favourite memory.
We did the same. I lived in, it's a 25-year-old development, but opposite the climbing castle on Green Lanes where the water works were. They built an estate on there. Yes. We lived on there for a while. And I remember when Arsenal beat Man United were, at their peak. We beat them 3-1. My dad is in the room. My two brothers are in the room. My dad's a Liverpool fan, but my two brothers are Man United fans. My other brother's in America at the time. But I've opened the back patio door and it's just, I'm running out in the back garden going, listen to them. Yay. So, yeah, brilliant. Ruth, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you for sharing your story.
Hang on a minute. I'm not finished.
Go on. Oh, here we go.
Because, all it is, you've said you love doing this painting. That was one of your favourites. This is your favourite. If we put you on the spot now and said, what is your very, very favourite painting? The one you've most enjoyed doing and the one you still like now? I need to know.
Do you know, it's Emi Martinez holding the FA Cup. Because that FA Cup, when I drew it, I couldn't believe I drew it. Now, I don't know if you have it there or whatever, but
I don't. Sorry.
Technically, it was very, very difficult, and I still look at it today and think, "Blimey, I drew that." So yeah, that's probably for technique. That would be my favourite one. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm trying to find it. No, I can't see it on here.
That's a curveball.
Yeah, you should have warned me of that one, Trev. Thank you. Show us your Santi mug.
Well, I couldn't warn, could I? Because you could be any of the pictures. Look at that beauty.
David Marr, he makes the mugs, he makes the shirts. He is perfect. And obviously Santi, I love Santi.
David
I love
Marr.
him. Our little
That's the
magician.
man if you want one. Yeah. Well, Ruth, just before Fergus cuts us off, because we knock it on the edit about an hour. So I know he's going to shut it down in a minute. But Ruth, thank you very much for coming on here.
Thank you.
My heart grows even fonder, Ruth.
Mine too.
It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you tonight. I'm in awe of your skills. I'm in awe of your artwork. And please keep giving us more of your artwork. That's all I ask.
I've got loads in the tank.
Good. Please don't stop. Please don't stop. Thank you, Fergus.
Trev.
Thank you, Fergus.
And Ruth, before we go, a childhood friend has popped up in the chat, Tony Gillespie. He said he used to call over the balcony at the Highbury Quadrant Estate to you. I was chatting to Tony the other day and I said I was going to do this with you. So he says hi.
Oh, good old Tony is on my Facebook. Bless him. Thank you, Tony.
Right. If anybody wants to check out Ruth, go to Ruth Beck Art and go to buy Ruth Beck Art if you want to buy some stuff. If you want to follow us at Ruth Beck Art, everything's Ruth Beck Art.
It's all there.
On Twitter.
It's easy.
It's all there. It's easy. Makes it simple. She's really good. If you like the stuff, do it. And listen, if you like this show, hit the like button on YouTube. We are growing slightly on the YouTube subscribers, but myself and Trevor type of thought, wouldn't it be nice to get to 1,000 subscribers by the start of the next season? So if you do like what we do, click the subscribe button on YouTube. Thanks again, Ruth. Thanks, Trev.
You.
We are going to do some more of these. Charles Shanks is on our list. North Banksy is on our list. We also hopefully going to talk to the Ashburton Army and a couple of other just Arsenal community stuff. Doesn't have to be football because, listen, we're just Arsenal. We're not just Arsenal. We are the
Arsenal.
Oh, you nearly got it then, mate.
You've been listening to Guns and Yellow Ribbons, an Arsenal podcast by Arsenal fans for Arsenal fans. Follow us on Facebook at Guns and Yellow Ribbons and Twitter at Guns and Ribbons. And remember to rate and review us too.